Welcome, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. MTV on our radar today, guys. So that's MultiVac. We covered this a few days back. Have we made many moves since then? Did we manage to hit any of our buy orders at all? Let's jump straight into this topic right now. Just quickly before we go into the chart, nothing yet really of major interest from MTV other than pretty much regurgitating some stuff here about being a developer-friendly platform and this, that, and the other. Is upgrading the staking pool mining. There's loads of talk about the staking aspect that we've covered many a time. I think 1% rewards are being sent out for those that have been staking. So that's cool for hitting the 4.4 billion MTV level there on the 23rd. We didn't cover that in the last video, so I thought I'd throw that one out there. But yeah, no roadmap update yet. Of course, we're coming towards the end of January. Last announcement mainly from them, January the 6th, where we discussed and covered that whole absolutely chaotic scenario of the changeover of CTO and CEO aspects. So very interesting. Plan to release the roadmap in January or February. Very open there. So very much, like I said, towards the end of January right now, probably looking at February. I can imagine, there's a lot of crypto projects at this stage, very much busy catching up on things, trying to get developments done quicker, and the team and resources are always pulled into one direction usually. So it's good to see some marketing from MTV on a daily basis, of course, but I would like to see some kind of traction or at least some kind of date now for the roadmap, because I think that is for sure going to be something in particular that interests me as an investor. I'm a holder of MultiVac now since towards the latter stages of last year. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm still super excited about the project. But like I said, one thing's for sure from my side is from the investor aspect is appreciate most of the market is pretty static right now, and that's kind of an interesting point which we'll come on to in a second. But I'm really thinking that they could excel themselves a bit further in the terms of the price point if they were to bring that out. But to be honest, I find it a bit odd because in most projects, like I always say, the price is the price and the project continues, and I still stand by that with MTV. No matter what this price point is right now, I'm still a believer massively in MTV and MultiVac's capabilities. But they're trying to push the staking aspect, and surely they would want to encourage, I guess it's a good thing right now for this price to be lower. So maybe it's just that aspect that they're trying to fulfill more and more the staking without bringing in too much major interesting news. Because those that do believe in MTV are heavily interested in the staking aspect. Like myself, I'm not staking yet, but I am trying to build up as much as I can to make it worthwhile at this point in time. Maybe it's a bit of a strategy going on. Let's know what you think about that. I thought it was quite an interesting point. But in general, like I said, it's not majorly significant because most of the market is down. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that kind of little point to your attention. In one of the last videos that we did discuss some interesting potential price points that we might want to find MTV coming down to. So we did put some orders around that sort of 5.5 cent mark. Now, interestingly, we came down to 5.69. So I don't think my particular buy order, I need to check my KuCoin account actually if it even went in or not. Because I did do a couple actually. I did do one near that 5.5 cent mark, but I think I did one slightly higher as well. So I need to double check, but it kind of came into the aspect of what we were thinking it was doing. But fortunately, in some aspects, didn't really massively penetrate this lower region of the fib retracement that we saw back here on the 10th of January, which is what we said would probably be an aim for them to do in terms of the chart movement at some point. And of course, it did that here very much so on the 24th of January. It literally just dipped slightly down to it, not massively, but enough to literally put it back up straight away. So we're very much floating around this support mechanism over this 0.006 mark. This is where a lot of charts are right now in this familiar pattern, this similar pattern. I'm still leaving, even my 5.5 exact order, I'm still leaving it in there. Do I think it's going to come down lower than that? We covered this topic in previous ones. There is obviously a potential possibility because of the lack of data in certain points earlier, or indeed last year through midway, kind of June time. And we're not going to go into too much detail with that because we covered that in the last video. So go check that out because we haven't really moved price point wise anyway. So that's why I'm trying to keep this video a bit short, but emphasize the fact that potentially, just potentially, maybe, in fact, I may just write a note on here now because the reason we touched these points in earlier at around 5.5 was this particular area here. So when we came down on the 10th, sorry, not the 10th, the 24th here. So we said the low of 0.0056. So it's so close, but I'm really interested to keep putting that in there because I want this area here. I want this area here to be confirmed. We touched it as we said we probably would do. We talked about this point in the last one, and I'm just going to draw this in so you know what I'm talking about here. If I can find my lines, it's this area here. The reason I'm drawing it straight through, around about here, so it's just focusing on this section here for a second. We're hitting this area here and also the lower point of the slight drop down here. So when I pull this out, you get a nice kind of visual here of what I'm talking about. You see that nice bow momentum, and you saw similar patterns back here as well. That's why we thought about this area. So as you can see, very much this area that touched back down here on the 10th, as we mentioned, and also a couple of points here. So I'm going to leave that buy area in around 5.5, which is just slightly lower around this region here. It's not significantly different to this. So I must have hit my other order for sure on that day, but maybe not obviously the lower region of around 5.5. So as one of our key targets that we put in the title of the last video, but that would, in my mind, kind of confirm the lower regions of this particular area. So I'm just going to drag that down to the area that I'm talking about in particular, which is roughly around here, because I always do think that things can dip down a bit lower. So let's see if those still come in. I'm pleased to have got the slightly higher one that we managed to obtain on the buy order, but I'm still interested to see if we perhaps collapse this area. You can see the volumes are really reducing at the moment. The candles are so small, but we look at the RSI data here. We're still in the bearish momentum on the MACD. The RSIs are looking a tad stronger, but very much stabilizing. But I'm still in this sort of mindset that there's so much negativity in the world at the moment, with loads of random narratives. Of course, the interest rate situation in the US, there's all these factors that kick in, as well as the stability of markets. So I think we're just drying ourselves out here. It's almost like what I like about this is the lack of volume in the sell-off. Okay, so this is a key point. Yes, we might have 2 or 3 days still left, maybe of stability, and potentially this is enough movement for us to pull back down to these areas still that we just discussed. But I'm really interested to see this, because I think if we can close this off like we did here, we may start seeing a bit of an intake again, perhaps early next week. So for me personally, I've got the order still in there, but I've personally kind of like run out of extra USDT to use for buying anything more. So I'm waiting till payday on the 1st. Hopefully, selfishly, it's still around this area, maybe lower, for sure, maybe around this 0.006 mark again, like bang on. But if it tails up, fair enough. I think we've all had a good stab of these lower prices in a couple of regions across the last few weeks. But like I said, if it can hold out, just hold out, please, till the 1st. I'd be very grateful. But each to their own. I'm sure there's many of you are just fed up with seeing this stabilization and these low prices. and want to start seeing some gains now, some profits on our investments. But the RSI, like I said, very much stabilizing, especially on that 90 days, slowly creeping upwards. So we just have to keep an eye on that. But it's irrespective if it moves up, even if it starts testing this like 0.0079 mark, we're talking about very insignificant numbers, really, to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, I just like the competitiveness of trying to hit areas that I think it will come to. But even if it comes up to this area, I won't be mad at all, because I think anything under 1 cent for a project like MultiVac to accumulate so much of it for the years to come is a no-brainer, in my opinion. So let us know what you've been doing with MTV in the last few days since the last video. We will catch up with MTV probably on Monday. We always like to try and do MTV Mondays, and for sure we will definitely aim for that if we can. But guys, thanks for watching. We're keeping these short but punchy, hopefully, if you enjoyed it at least. We're on to a next couple of videos before I wrap up tonight, and we'll definitely do some more tomorrow and over the weekend for you guys to catch up on so many projects. Thanks guys, we'll see you indeed in the next one. Bye bye.